Which Wonder Woman tale would make the best sequel? I'm Sasha Pearl Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. With the massive success of Wonder Woman, there is no doubt we are getting a sequel. We've got 75 years of backstory to figure out what's the best arc. Well, I got me a crack team here to figure it out. We have Wonder Woman writer Mark Andreyko and our very own DJ Woldridge.
Hello.
Could not think of two people more qualified to answer this question. So guys, Mark, let's start with you. Where do you think this story should go next?
Well, after seeing the movie for seven times, the most I've seen a movie in a theater since Back to the Future.
Wow.
And I paid for most of those. Those weren't all free. I think Cheetah. I think modern day and Cheetah. I think what we're missing from a lot of these superhero movies is they're leaning away from being superhero movies. Mm-hmm. So let's have the brightness of Wonder Woman, have her fight Dr. Barbara Minerva. Because in the comics, Barbara Minerva is an archaeologist who is researching and digs in Africa, and she finds a dagger from one of the cheetah gods, and she cuts herself and becomes possessed by this cheetah god. So Wonder Woman fighting a were-cheetah, and there's so many actresses that would be great, whether it's Angelina Jolie or Charlize Theron.
It looks a little Jessica Chastain, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a delicious villain role because she's not a pure villain. She's kind of possessed by this. So it's definitely, and having a female villain opposite of the preeminent female hero who is a good villain for her to fight is really, really great stuff.
You can also do some really cool visual stuff with Cheetah too that would be amazing to see on the big screen. I'm all on board with that.
What else, DJ, though, besides being on board with Mark's great answer?
Real quick, though, I do have a question. At what point do you surpass Back to the Future? How many times do you need to see Wonder Woman to surpass Back to the Future?
I saw Back to the Future in the theater in 1986. That movie came out, I think? 85, 86. I saw it 13 times in the theater.
Oh,
okay, all right.
In the theater, but that was also before like Blu-ray and streaming. So chances are, how many times total have you seen it? You have no idea.
Back to the Future, hundreds. Sure. And Back to the Future, actually, this is how old I am. Back to the Future, when it came out on VHS the first time, it was when VHSs were just to rent, so they were $100 each. So for my birthday, the year it came out, I asked for that, and that's all I got because it cost my parents $100 because they were all for rent only. Batman, the Tim Burton Batman movie was the first movie that was mass produced for cheap sale.
Mr. and Mrs. Andreyko, what a good parents you are.
Stay tuned for the follow-up where we talk about Back to the Future sequels that we want to see. No, for me, I would like to. I know that they said they're not going to, but I would like it to still be a period piece. I'd like to choose a time period between the present day and where she was. And Danielle Radford and I were talking about this. I think set it in the 60s, make it a spy movie where she's just running a mod boutique as her day job, throwing back to, I'm going to say classic. Mark's going to call me out on that, how classic it is, classic run on Wonder Woman. And the government, knowing her involvement in World War I, pulls her back in for a spy mission, and you can get an invisible jet. And it also explains
that keeps production costs down.
Exactly. Yeah. And it explains how she's been active for those 100 years without necessarily being in the public eye.
Well, there's been so much talk, and the truth is I like that idea because I don't know that we need to jump all the way to modern times. I know that there's a good chance we're going to, but if there were another possible sequel, where would you like to see them go that maybe is a slightly more off tangent sort of storyline?
Well, something they could do that I think would be really interesting, because the chemistry between Gal and Chris was so great in this movie, and when, spoiler alert, when, are you not listening? Good.
Yeah.
When Steve Trevor makes the ultimate sacrifice, it's really heartbreaking because we never see that. Everyone always survives these movies. Yeah. You could do a thing harkening back to some stuff George Perez did in his run with the children of Hades, or children of Ares. He had 3 children, a girl Eris, a son Phobos, and a son Deimos, who were demigods and evil. That's Phobos, and that's Deimos. And I would have them get awakened somehow and go to Hades, who's their only surviving uncle, because we never talk about the underworld in the first Wonder. And they bring back the spirit of Steve Trevor from the Hall of Fallen Heroes and make him the Dark Phoenix of this movie, have him come back, and he's possessed maybe with Ares.
So into it. But does that take us to World War II?
I would skip World War II. I think for 2 reasons. One, we have a Captain America movie that did the World War II thing. And I think the World War II thing, trying to fit a superhero into things like the Holocaust, is a really difficult thing to do, both as a tone thing and as a commercial thing. You know, Lebanon banned Wonder Woman because she's Israeli.
Right.
So when you're making these big budget movies, you have to think about the commercial and the artistic. I think let's skip ahead. Let's do the 60s. Yeah. Let's have Steve Trevor come back in the 60s.
Oh man, I love that idea. I think that would be so cool.
And it'd be great because we get Chris Pine back, and also it would hurt. It would hurt to have him be the bad guy. Yeah. It would hurt Wonder Woman, and as an audience member, we'd be like, why?
Because ultimately, does she have to kill him again?
Well, I would make it in a way that she sacrifices some of her own godlike immortality to keep him alive, and that way you make her more vulnerable. So because she's kind of invulnerable now. Yeah. So I would do the satisfying ending that we didn't get of Dark Phoenix in the X-Men comic books, which was tragic and worked, but I would do an ending where we bring Chris Pine back, and because their chemistry was so great, that it would be a shame. I mean, if we never see him again, we'll cherish him in the first movie, but we really want him back, and I think there's ways in the mythos to make that work.
Oh my God, that's all the feels. That's all.
Call me, Warner Brothers. I'm available.
I want that movie. I want that movie so bad. All right, DJ. What else?
If we move to the present, one of my favorite modern Wonder Woman tales was Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang's run in the New 52, because I thought it did a good. It basically posited the Olympian gods as almost a crime family, almost like a Game of Thrones. Everybody's backstabbing each other, and it was just a very compelling. Grounded's the wrong word because Hades had a candle for a head. It was a creative take on them, and even though most of the gods are dead as if Wonder Woman won, maybe they could start coming back. It also deals a lot with Hera. The main arc of it is Hera is trying to get at Wonder Woman because she's tired of all of Zeus's bastards, and it's heavily implied, spoilers again, that Wonder Woman may be the progeny of Zeus. In Wonder Woman 1, it's implied that she might be a child of Zeus, so Hera could come back and just try and get rid of Wonder Woman. Also, they incorporate the new gods like Darkseid and Orion and everything, which would be interesting to tackle with the old gods being dead in Wonder Woman 1, that maybe that is what starts the new gods coming into the story.
Well, and the pump is primed with things like American Gods right now. The whole thing that's fascinating about gods is they're only as strong as the amount of belief is in them. So you could have in this new world with superheroes popping up that people are looking for things to believe, and it revives the old gods.
That'd be great, especially with Wonder Woman.
And have them come back and say, now we're definitely gonna seize the planet, because now, to paraphrase Russell Crowe from the Mummy, this is a new world of gods and monsters. This is a new world of gods and heroes. So once again there are logical tethers to bring these things back, which is so rare in sequels. Most of the time it's putting a square peg in a round hole. Like, what about this villain? But these stories all come from the mythos of Wonder Woman, but you don't need to be a nerd to appreciate them.
Exactly.
Well, it also opens up the opportunity for a lot of really cool supporting characters.
Oh yeah.
And within the stories that you guys are talking about, are there any characters from the books that you would like to see brought back?
Sure. Well, one is Veronica Cale, who's currently the big villain, the big bad in Greg Rucka's run in Rebirth, but she's been around for a while. She's basically Wonder Woman's Lex Luthor. She's a genius, super smart woman, super rich, and is threatened by Wonder Woman's effortlessness at being a paragon of virtue, and everyone loves her. The other one that I would bring in would be Julia Capitalis and her daughter Vanessa. They were created by George Perez for his run, and Julia is a professor of Greek antiquities, so she's kind of Wonder Woman's exchange student parent when Wonder Woman comes to the man's world for the first time. And then, of course, the one I definitely want that works in either permutation of a sequel I have is Mindy Mayer, another George Perez creation. Mindy Mayer was an agent and publicist who, when Wonder Woman came to the man's world, was like, hey, we got to brand you. And I want to bring her in because I think it's a delicious role, because she's definitely that sort of Miranda Priestley sort of role from The Devil Wears Prada. But Mindy Mayer, if you bring Wonder Woman into the modern day and she's now a public figure, you can bring in the original theme song from the TV show and the Wonder Woman spin for clothing, because Mindy would say, hey, Diana, you need to be branded. Everybody's got a brand. Listen to this. We came up with a song for you and the spin thing. So you can throw it back to the TV show and acknowledge it, because that theme song is the best theme song ever. And wink, wink, but not be snarky about it, be nostalgic in the best way to it. And Mindy Mayer is such a great role. I mean, Baby New Earth or Sigourney Weaver would be great. Even Meryl Streep, just this delicious older woman who's been around and sort of manipulating thing and is so Hollywood.
And it'd be a cool way, we talked a little bit about this off camera, it'd be a cool way to introduce a new aspect of Diana's naivete, because as far as like public persona, that's clearly not something she's had to deal with before, even though she's been around for 100 years.
And especially if they've established in this movie that she has been around since World War I, but she's been behind the scenes and not used to public exposure, having her be Sully. All of a sudden, wait a minute, I'm doing this because I want to. I don't want to be a star, but That's by default. You have to deal with it. There's all sorts of commentaries. There's all sorts of great, like the first Wonder Woman movie, there's lots of great textures you can put in there about comments on today and Hollywood and celebrity and responsibility and role models, and still make a really entertaining movie.
Yeah.
I have a favor to ask Warner Brothers. Can you please call Mark Andreyko and have him write this? Because I want all of these movies that you guys have pitched.
I'll do it for free.
Oh, man.
You heard it here first.
Don't foul yourself, son.
Well, I'm in the guild, so I'll do it for guild minimum.
Come on, man. Make it happen. But we want to know what you guys think. What storylines you'd like to see, what characters you'd like to see brought in for the Wonder Woman sequel. Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. And Warner Brothers,